This episode was brought to you by chai, green tea, made out of Oregon. Forget the name of the brand or, the product's name. I have no idea what the product's name is, but it is green tea and it is chai, which just means cinnamon and spices. And this episode is also brought to you by GoFuckYourself.com. So make sure you go out and get yourself some GoFuckYourself.com merchandise today. How will people know to laugh if there's no laugh track? It's because I respect the American people, and I think you're smarter than needing some laugh track to tell you to laugh. So Noam Chomsky is sitting there pointing out that Donald Trump, the goddamn president, he's basically doing the standard Republican bullshit, right? He's doing tax cuts, corporate welfare, denying that climate change is real. And even though his rhetoric is, it's all about the working class man and helping out the poor, the policies that he's pursuing will devastate and destroy the middle, working, and poor and homeless classes of people. Only the 1% is going to make it out alive after Trump crashes this economy. Now, that's one thing that Noam Chomsky mentions, that the Wall Street people, the circle that he's got himself circled, that's in his cabinet, that's circling, that's around Donald Trump, is going to bring about an economic collapse. Also, Trump could just stage a false flag. I'm not even sure why this is making headlines, but apparently Noam Chomsky said, just as an aside, that it could be possible that the Trump administration could set up a false flag operation. They could have a plan, attack their own country, blaming it on, the Muslims or communists or whoever is the most convenient scapegoat at the time. Because Trump is going to fail. He's not going to be able to turn this country around. He's not going to be able to get his policies implemented. And then he's going to turn around and start blaming everybody else. And when he starts to blame everybody else, he's a megalomaniac. He don't want to take the credit. He don't want to go. So what he's going to do is, he could, just like, I think it was JFK, right? Operation Mongoose or Northwoods, one of those where they were going to blame it on Cuba, attack Miami, blame it on Cuba, and then they'd give us a pretense to go into war, just like 9/11. So in the Vietnam War, you had Johnson escalated it with the Bay of something, the Spanish-American War. It was based upon false pretenses. The Mexican-American War was based upon false pretenses. What was that called during Vietnam when he escalated it? I don't know, I'll come back. But I don't think it's that. Of course, it's a possibility. Anything's a possibility. And not only is it a possibility, but since Trump likes to brag about being a strong man, we should worry about whether or not he's going to step down from power, right? The peaceful transition of power. Is Trump going to make sure, is he going to answer that call? Will he respect after 2 terms that he's just going to step down? I think that really everything's on the plate, right? Who knows what the hell this man is capable of? He can do anything and everything. Chomsky has called Donald Trump a con man who will drag civilization down to the pits and the ashes of hell. As he said, down to the other depths of barbarism. And he says that most of the world is actually amused by how everybody's still talking about Russia meddling in the 2016 election. And he says, whatever they were doing, let's just take the most extreme charges, right? They hacked and then they influenced the election. Well, he says that doesn't even compare to what the United States has done. Just take a look at 1991. The United States intervened radically to support Boris Yeltsin. And he was engaged in a power play to try to take power from the parliament. Bill Clinton supported him doing this. In 1996, when Yeltsin was running, the Clinton administration openly and strongly supported them, not only verbally, but with tactics and loans and money. So the Clintons meddled in the Russians' election. The Gulf of Tonkin incident is what got LBJ to escalate the Vietnam War. The Gulf of Tonkin incident. Remember this. It's also known as the USS Maddox incident. And this drew the U.S. into the Vietnam War even more. Apparently, we were attacked and we needed to escalate it. But it turns out not only were we not attacked, we were the ones doing the attacking. And so the Gulf of Tonkin incident was a false flag to escalate the war. The USS Maine got exploded in Havana. It was an internal fire, but we blamed that on Cuba in order to get into the Spanish-American War. And then James Polk, got us into the Mexican-American War when Abraham Lincoln had the Spot Amendment. So where was the spot where supposedly we were being attacked? Because there was no spot where we were being attacked, because we were the ones doing the attacking. Of course, if the United States doesn't like the way that the election went down, then we'll just, invade and overthrow the country. We do have a long history of imperialism. And so actually, since the very beginning, right? We've been imperialists since the very beginning. And then you have, let's go down the list. So, how anti-establishment is Donald Trump? He's got cabinet members such as Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, who's a Goldman Sachs alumnus. So our Treasury Secretary used to be part of Goldman Sachs. Gary Cohn, his Director of National Economic Council, was the COO at the same bank. So he's surrounded by all these, Wall Street fat cats. As soon as he was elected, the financial institutions, the stocks, went sky high. Their house says that we're a nation whose leaders are leading us to an economic suicide. An economic suicide. This country cannot handle any more deregulation. They can't handle these financial institutions running roughshod over everybody. Remember when they crashed the entire economy in 2008 and Iceland throws them in jail, and we were like, here's a shit ton of money. Here's $700 billion. Congratulations. Thank you for crashing the economy. What incentive do they have to not crash the economy again? They crashed the whole damn economy. We gave them a bailout. They got golden parachutes, right? Golden parachutes, and they're golden showers. These are fat cats doing whatever the hell they want to do. And what was the incentive for them not to repeat the same mistake? That they'll get a $700 billion bailout, a nice, big fat check from the American public for fucking over our entire economy. And according to Chomsky, the U.S. and Europe are creating or committing economic suicide in two different ways. In Europe, it's through austerity measures, so they're cutting all these programs. We're seeing austerity here. But he's saying that in America, it's a little bit different, because what we're doing is we're amping up the private prison industry so that way we can throw the undesirables in jail. There's money to be made off of, free labor. And then you also have the financialization of the economy. Since, there's no growth and it's going to be stagnated, well, we have to find other ways to make some money. So we're going to be drilling offshores and looking for oil here and there. And then we're going to be getting into the financial industry. And I remember one time he said 95% of all of our economy is speculation. 95% of our entire economy is speculation. The fuck are the financial, leaders